All right. Welcome back. We're here with Lance Upton from OneBridge. And in our last conversation, we had kind of this introduction to Golem and building Shiny applications. And today we want to just go through some examples and get more into depth with how Golem works. So Lance, I'll hand it off to you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Derek, for the introduction. Like you said, I'm Lance, a consultant at OneBridge in Indianapolis. And I'm doing a lot of work with one of our clients with R. And last time I shared one of the packages that I've been using that really helps a lot. And so today I'm going to do kind of an extended demonstration based on the stuff that I did last time. Yeah, so with this extending time, I'll go into more detail with what Golem can do with this project. All right, so I'll go ahead and share my screen here really quick. Derek, could you let me know if you can see that fine?
Yeah, I can see that.
All right, great. So basically, yeah, prototyping with Shiny is relatively easy. But of course, as development progresses and the application gets more complicated, so does the further development you do in that project. So last time we created a really simple app to demonstrate this principle. It was this prototype one here. So basically, we got some open source COVID data, and we built this app here that lets the user select an X and Y variable and lets them filter the locations. And it basically just plots it. So we'll look at this really quickly, just to recap. So yeah, so we have the X variable, the Y variable, and we filter locations. And then with iteration 2 here, we actually built this module called filter, where we passed in the data, and then we would generate these inputs to select the variable and to select values for that variable to filter. And then it would return indices. And then the return from this module would pass to the server. So basically, we've kind of extended the functionality of this application by adding a module, but it's still all in the same kind of single file structure here. So there's multiple objects here, but still you can see pretty simple with Shiny. You just run that script and it will source the modules. And so here we call that filtering module twice. So that shows up twice.
Can you check to see if you're sharing the whole desktop or just the RStudio IDE?
Oh yeah, sure. I bet you're not seeing the output.
Yeah,
screen,
we don't see the rendered application. So.
All right. Screen 2. So I'll run this. Let's see.
There we go.
You see it now?
Yeah.
Great. So yeah, so here's the base app. Sorry, you guys didn't get to see the first one, but this was the base app. So you select an X variable, Y variable, and a variable to filter. And then we have, yeah, so that was part of the filter module 1, and then the second filter module here that we called. So the reason I did that is because with this data, you'll see, so we'll put date on X, we'll put something like total deaths on Y. And so with this data, it's really nice to filter by date and to filter by location, just because there's so much data. So we'll select some dates and some locations. Just because there's so much data, it just, when you plot it all at the same time, the data is small. So we decided to modularize this filter so that we could call it twice. So what's kind of the second step in your kind of like Shiny tidy code progression? You know, there's that single app style with just the app, the UI, and the server definitions. And then there's the part where you start adding modules in separate objects in the global environment. And this final step, the third step, is where Golem comes in. So in this step, we're going to be leveraging the R package infrastructure to separate all of these different code components, like filter and the server, into a lot way easier to manage files in a file system. So to start, Golem just has this package. So obviously you'll need to install Golem just with install packages Golem. So it has this method called create Golem. And basically what this does is it checks which what your current working directory is. So here I'm in this dev directory, that's fine. And what it does is it'll, so you put a string argument here to whatever package, whatever you want your package name to be. So I'll just call this like COVID test. And it will, what it does is it creates a directory inside this main directory here for your package. So we'll run this. Oh, looks like we can't have underscores, so I'll just change that to a dot. It's nice too that it does all those checks for you when you're creating it, because when you try to submit this package to CRAN, if it doesn't pass those checks, then you're kind of out of luck. So it does that for you right at the beginning, which is nice.
It looks like it created a whole project for you with all the infrastructure that you need to create the package.
All of this, yeah, it creates all of this for you. So really, you can just you can build this right now, and it'll build fine. You know, it gives you all of the boilerplate, which is super nice. And actually, it has this folder here called dev. Is perfect for people who are new to Golem, because this pretty much tells you exactly what to do, like from start to finish. And he's been kind of building on this every release. So last time the last Golem project I did, it's changed since the last time I've done it. So it's pretty good at keeping us updated. So you'll start here at the, just it's numbered. So you start at 1. He has sections where you can fill the description file. What this does is it, edits this file here, which is it gives the metadata for your package, and it tells R like which packages to import, stuff like that. Other important stuff, it gives you an option to use licenses and readmes, code of contact, life cycle badges, news articles. You can write markdown files for releases and stuff like that. It lets you tie it to a Git repo. And so this is the next thing I want to talk about here is tests. This is really good for people who develop packages. The reason I pass through all these here is because, I don't do a lot of open source development these days. So I don't really write code of conducts, or I don't release new statements, stuff like that. But if you do that sort of thing, that's when you would use these methods up here. So this method here, use recommended tests, what it does is it creates this test directory here. I think I touched on this very briefly in the first part. Yeah, but it sort of gives you this default test here where it kind of tests if your app actually launches. It'll launch a simulated process here, and then test if it actually runs. In fact, I think we can actually run these now. I need to build this first. All right. So we'll run through some tests here, but so we want to run through these tests. So to run through the tests, we actually have to build the package. So it's a good chance to go through this here. So you have the kind of tutorial that he's given you here, and there's also this run_dev file here. And what this does is whenever you want to test your package locally, this is the file you'll go to. This kind of just clears your session and your environment on a new slate, and then rebuilds your package and runs it on your station. So it's a really, really fast way to test it without rebuilding it all from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we have the package now. Now this should expect list. There we go. So now, we can use these tests. So basically, when you run these, if the test passes, it won't return anything. So when we run these, you'll see that they all pass. And then we have this up here, test check, that's through the console. But if we do, there's one test package, I think. That's what you use in the console. Yep. So when you're in the console, so when you're developing, if you use the method test_package, this is in the test that package, and then you write your package here. What that does is it'll go through every test in this folder here, and it will run it, and it'll give you this really descriptive results thing here. This is really nice. Really nice. And something that I like to do here is I'll take this test package and I'll go and put it in my dev here, so that you test it when you're developing, which can be useful if you need to test a lot.
Yeah, so it's kind of like an iterative development process. Just automatically run the tests right before you launch everything.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe not something you want to do if the tests are super exhaustive and they take a lot of time to run, but it's good for small projects.
Mm-hmm.
So in fact, I actually wrote one small test to demonstrate. So I wrote this test here. I'll go back to my package. So basically, we have this COVID data. And so I wanna just do a really quick test on the COVID data to see if it's valid. Just some arbitrary test that doesn't really matter, just to kind of demonstrate this testing function. So the COVID data has two of these variables: total tests and total cases. So total tests would so this data is country level. So there'll be each row is a country, is an observation for a country. So total tests here would be the total tests in that country for that date, and total cases would be the number of positive results in that country for that date. So total cases should it should make sense for total cases to always be less than total cases, or sorry, total tests. So if we take this ratio here, none of them should be negative. Or sorry, none of them should be positive. Get that right. But so we write this test here. Yeah, so we write this test here to expect that none of these evaluate to true. So we say expect false. It's like a gymnastics there with the Boolean.
Well, even the way it's written is like you have to do an any. You have to kind of do the opposite of what you think it should be, kind of thing. So.
And there's this, like, which direction is that supposed to be pointing? Like, maybe guess.
Right.
So here, this COVID. So now we have this problem here where we, last time when we had the single file, we would just read CSV, the COVID data, into the global environment. But now we're in a package. So what do? So Golem has a solution to that. It is here. So this method called useDataRaw. So let's run this really quick. Data raw. And so that creates this file dataset.r inside the folder called data raw.
Mm-hmm.
And so what this script is meant to do is you're supposed to run this script when you're building your package to generate the package data.
So does it include, so the COVID data was already in like another package, right?
I I think it is in another package, but the way I used it, I just
Mhm.
downloaded it to a CSV and I was just reading it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
And so
we'll
this, yeah, what did, when you said use data raw, what did that end up doing? That created, that did the read of the COVID CSV.
not yet. It hasn't
Oh,
done that
okay.
yet. Yeah. So far, all I've done is I've told Golem that I want this package to use raw data from somewhere.
Okay.
So it created this data raw directory and it created
Hmm.
this file here, dataset.r,
Hmm.
with this boilerplate here. So it's telling us here to prepare the data set here. And then at the end, you'll use this command, use data, and that will save the object from the global environment into the package data.
Okay.
So that when you load the package, it will load the data that you saved here.
All right.
So I have something here. Yeah. So basically, what I did is I copied I'm doing the same thing here. It's just we're
Hmm.
copying the data file into the folder, and then we're just reading it. Just copy this. All right. So now this is the in the data raw file, directory.
Hmm.
So we'll run this. So we'll read the COVID data into the global environment, and then we will use this to attach it to the package. It does it by saving it here. So it puts it into the data subdirectory and saves it
Okay.
as this RDA file type.
Okay.
So when someone attaches your package, this gets read into the package environment as a data object. All right. And part of the boilerplate also is so these files. So we have obviously the UI. From the single file, this was just an object definition, but here we have whole file here.
Hmm.
Yeah, we touched on this last time too. I think
Hmm.
Golem does a really good job of covering all of the bases for deployment. It defines the UI and the server here appropriately to kind of handle all of that. Here, really quickly, I'm just going to copy and paste the UI and server definitions from our prototype really quick. All right. And so next, so we have the base UI, and then we have these modules here, remember, for the user interface. So we'll need to add these to the package also. So here, that's when we'll use this add module method here. And we'll call this filter. It creates this boilerplate here. So this is in the R directory. And Golem is kind of enforcing this best practice of namespacing your modules with the mod prefix here.
Right.
So it does this. Um, here's the filter, and then we want filter server is here. All right. So now, really quickly, I'm going to see how this does, how we're moving along. All right, object mod filter not found. Let's see. Because it's mod filter server. Just call it. So this is UI. That was just the mod filter UI and the mod filter server. It's just, I have to match it up with what these are called. So here's the mod filter UI.
Named in there. Yeah.
Just namespace differences. So back to run dev. Try this again. All right, let's see. It's actually that. Actually, I have great. So at this point, I'm kind of going to transition into the package that I prepared for this talk. To kind of, this is kind of like a baking show where you like kind of show the recipe and then like you bring out the final product.
That's right.
So that's what this is going to be. Just to skip all of like the debugging that I'm eventually going to get to.
Yeah.
And it's an inevitable thing and these kind of things. So I'll show you here so this is the same server file except here. So we have these arguments here selected here for that filter module that I did. And I kind of show you what the purpose of that is. That just makes it easier. If you pass in the selected variable, it'll just tell you to go ahead and select date here and total deaths here and location here and date here. So it just makes it a lot easier. So you just need to select stuff here. So these are the two filter modules in action here. Nothing's showing because that's back in January. There aren't a lot of cases, but here's May. There's some cases showing.
Okay.
But yeah, so this is I mean, this is you see, this is a lot more complicated than kind of what we started with. You know, we have these multiple inputs here, but I mean, the code base, we just have a lot of these functions, but I mean, they're all. We have a way to document each of these. You know, it's really clearly separated.
Yeah, I think the organization is one of the big keys, and as you said before, like implementing those best practices, because as you went through the instructions where it was telling, okay, first start here, then do this, and then like you had step 3 or whatever, there were a lot of things in there that I was like, oh yeah, you know, if you're putting together a package, you probably do want like things like a license, and you probably do want like a code of conduct and all this other stuff that that they're kind of explicitly saying, here's how to do it, run this command, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna try and see. Here we go. Just to demonstrate how easy. So this leverages the, I think, their Roxygen 2 package, the documentation style. So basically just, so you have it, Golem gives you this boilerplate here for documentation, and it just makes it so easy to document your package. It kind of just gives you like these tags here. It's kind of just, in my mind, whenever I open the script and work on it, it's just kind of just a bell that rings. It says, hey, have you completed this yet? And really, it's so helpful because when the next guy comes along and is working on this, it gives them this really simple user interface where you just type the question mark. This is the RStudio interface. And it gives you, it renders the help documentation, just gives it all here.
Right.
Also, if you're using stuff like they have blog down, I think the blog down package, or some blog packages where you plug in your package and it renders all the help documentation, turns it into a website. So that works if you do your documentation here.
Mm-hmm.
And one other thing I wanted to mention, so we'll go ahead and just keep going through these dev scripts. So we went through the data here. All right, so we did modules in here. So let's kind of, this really reinforces how Golem is encouraging us just to follow best practice. Especially with namespaces, it's really enforcing that. So here, even with your helper functions and utility functions, it kind of encourages you to namespace them. So here, maybe we had some functions for the filter module that were just specific for the filter module. So we would type add underscore FCT mod filter. What that'll do is it'll in this directory we have in the R folder, it creates just this file here, fct underscore mod filter, and just another layer of organization here.
What does the FCT stand for?
I think it stands for function.
Oh, okay. When I see FCT, my mind automatically goes to like factors, and I'm like, it doesn't seem like factors would make sense there, but okay.
And actually, it says FTC here.
Yeah.
So actually, I may even be wrong when I say function, but the method is FCT, so I think it is FCT.
Yeah.
So let's see. Yep, it doesn't say. So and it gives you the option to build vignettes. And really quickly, so just make sure this runs, and we'll demonstrate the final step, which is deployment. And we'll just see just how easy deployment is. It's crazy easy, actually. Here's our app. That's great. Okay. So here on script number 3, so we have these 3 methods here based on where you want to deploy. So we have RStudio Connect, Shiny Apps IO, and Shiny Server. There's also Docker, but I'm not super familiar with Docker, so we won't do that today. Shiny, if you have Shiny Server, that's very simple. I'm actually going to demonstrate Shiny Apps IO now. Super easy. So to do this, all you have to do is sign up for a Shiny Apps IO account. It's free, and you can create project with a certain number of free hours, I think. And then there's a package called RS Connect, and you just plug in some API tokens, and your account will be connected. And then all we need to do is just add this. That'll add this file here, and this is kind of so let's app.r file here. It adds it into the base directory of your package here. And what this does is it lets, so here, this keyword here, this file being here and this keyword being here tells, I believe it tells Shiny Apps IO that this is a Shiny application and to run the application with this command here.
Okay.
But either way, this file here is for the purpose of getting the app to run on the server. All right, so we'll go ahead and deploy this using this command here. So again, you'll need to have RS Connect installed, obviously. Let's actually build this first. Four. Interesting.
have you previously built this
I
or
have.
how you tried to do uh maybe there might be, like, I know the RS Connect package drops a little directory inside your project directory, probably the
Ooh, okay.
RS Connect.
Yeah.
So you might be able to get away with yeah, go in there, go in yeah, something, and
You can't just
maybe,
delete that, maybe?
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. 'Cause
Let's do
I
it.
recently ran into this and I was like, I mean, with another thing, and I was like, oh, what's going on? And then I I just deleted it, and uh, my project got deployed. So
All right. It looks like it worked. It's
all
good
right.
news. Um,
So yeah, it'll go through and grab all the dependencies, send the files and stuff out to Shiny Apps IO, and then build it on Shiny Apps IO, like download all the dependencies and stuff there.
yep.
So it's
Yep.
interesting that they're using the RS Connect package here, because normally when I see people uh, uh, deploying their application to Shiny Apps IO, they would go through the if they're going to use the RStudio IDE to perform that deployment, then they would go through and I think there's like a little um, right next to the Run App button at the top. Yeah, that one. There's that button, and that will go and deploy. Like, you'll fill out your. I guess you'll probably have to fill out either some token information or maybe you have to log in, but it would do this same stuff using the RS Connect package, um, kind of in the background. So
Yeah, this is nice. It's pretty quick too.
yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, yeah, even so in this in the where is it? This run dev file. So yeah, just like quick tip, I would definitely. So if you have tests, use that method that it's called test underscore package. Uh,
Mhm.
use that in the console, it works just fine. So here we are, the Shiny Apps IO pack file. It opened up automatically. So this is just public.
Okay.
All you need is a profile to do this.
Yeah.
Just to demonstrate that this works, we'll select some countries, we'll select some dates, and there it is. We have a
There
working
we go.
package on Shiny Apps IO
Wow.
built with
Yeah, I
Golem.
think that kind of going from beginning to end with building a package and getting it installed. Uh, all the instructions are written out for you how to do it. You know, they got the helper functions in there for you. That's really convenient.
Yeah, it's really great that you can really just open up this folder and just start here. It just gives you a
Mhm.
very concrete starting point, and
Mhm.
it's all, you know. I've been working with Shiny for probably 8 years now, maybe, and
Mhm.
so I think I know best practice when I see it, and you know this is
Mhm.
pretty darn close to best practice if I've seen it, and they're
Yeah.
really, it feels like they're really striving towards that, and you know it's kind of one of my main goals when I develop is best practice. So I can't
Yeah.
recommend this package enough.
I love that you know, they're consolidating all these best practices to kind of tell you, hey, these are the things that you need. Because if you're a novice and you're kind of putting together a package for the first time, you know, it may take a number of times of putting together packages and then studying how other people are putting together packages and deploying them in order to get all of this knowledge and stuff set up, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it's really nice. I can't wait for this to. I feel like it has blown up a little bit, but I feel
Mhm.
like it still has room to blow up, and I can't
Mhm.
really wait for this to really get popular within the community, to really standardize things. I think it's going to
Mhm.
help. Um,
Have you heard of anything new that they're talking about coming down the line, or
I haven't really.
okay.
Um, In fact, so actually, I've they have actually the GitHub is really active, and he uses a lot of labels. So especially for first time users, actually, I've taken the kind of going through the issues and picking out the good issue for first time user and kind of pondering like, is it my time to dip my toe into open source?
Yeah.
Very close to doing stuff like that, but yeah. Yeah, so that's all I have to demonstrate about the package. Do you have any more questions about like the process or?
No, I think it was pretty clear when you went through it, you know. I really appreciate you taking the time to put together the recap and showing us the kind of like the beginning to end process of how to use Gollum to put together your Shiny application and get it deployed. You know.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, they make it easy with this package. It
Yeah.
was an easy job.
All right. So we'll get this posted up on YouTube and then also if you have examples that you want to share with people, then we can get those posted on or get links to those on GitHub.
All right, we'll do.
All right.